Okay, apparently you can't bump that button. So we know some guy and he has sex a lot with women, so he's kind of figured out something, but we don't really know. And we look around and our friends, our uncles, our dads, whether they're married or not, they just don't get women. What I'm here to tell you is life is radically different and infinitely more complicated. Will a woman be like a guy if you understand them? No. That's the first part. Sometimes that's what we want, is why can't she be like that? You would actually lose attraction. And if you've experienced that, you know what I'm talking about, if she just fits into the boxes like a guy. Women don't operate that way. Whether you like it or not, I'm not here to convince you, or it's not, I didn't make male and female hormones, right? We operate as the sun, meaning the sun kind of rises and sets pretty much at the same time. We feel more or less the same. You might be feeling really good at 9 a.m. when you're going to the gym or meditating, or earlier for that matter. But you probably don't want to go do that at 10 p.m. Women don't operate that way. Women are the moon. Said differently, women's experience of life for about 30, maybe 40 years, somewhere in that range, is constant, never-ending change. This, I'm sure it annoys some women. As I talk to them, some of them surrender to it and navigate and surf the wave of their experience of life. As guys, we just call them all crazy and kind of write them off and go, but I want to have a family, or I want to have sex, I want to make love. What do I do? Why I made this video specifically is to invite you to consider first that it's possible. You can decode women. And they are like a business in the Japanese metaphor I gave earlier. Except what's worse, here's my motivational minute, is there's guys that are in their relationship, and we can look at our grandparents and aunts and uncles, that are actually out of business in their relationship. They're still together, but the business has failed. It's been 20-some, 30-some, 40-some years. I started doing interviews with people. I was a 27-year-old kid. It was 13 years ago. A lot of it was honestly at like weddings, funerals, and seminars. And I remember talking about some of this stuff. It was in a more basic level, or hey, you can write a relationship vision, write 10 things you want, and then date people that have that. And I was telling some relatives, and I just assumed if you were married for 20, 30, 40 years, you like figured it out. Okay, 55 roughly % of people get divorced in the States. So the other 45 figured it out. No. And just because you start to understand women, does that mean you've totally decoded it? Also no. There's a question of knowing yourself better, understanding yourself, and the clarity, the alignment of making a decision from the total truth of who you are. Not just, because I don't know if you've been there, man. I've been there where sexually, part of me was in another relationship, my heart was in another relationship, my head was in. I never had all three of them line up in my past. And it was really confusing because no one sits us down and has a relationship owner's manual to making a decision well. It's one thing if you're 20 years old, it's different. If you want to build something sustainably where you're deeply fulfilled, where you have fun, where you love each other, where there's love, where there's passion, that's very different than swiping, which way is it? Is it left? Swiping left on Tinder. So what I'm here to tell you is, if you can't decode women, life is so much worse. Bro, it's so bad. It's bad. You can seem like you're getting through, but it's worse than you could possibly imagine. Like, you're fucked. Your life's kind of fucked, but you don't know that it's fucked, which makes it a bit more fucked. And what if there was a way where you could learn about women, and you could learn in reading a book and going to a quick seminar and hopping on a coaching call? It can be that easy. I started on this path 13 years ago, and it was just such like a weird, it was like, they're that different. One experience at a seminar, and there was the other, I was 27, this other guy was like 19. He's like, yeah, bro, they're that different. I was like, how can that be? How have I survived for 27 years? So what I invite you to consider and what I challenge you today is you can understand women. You have to do something. Here's a good one. Here's a common one that everyone knows, or you should know. Read a book like The Way of the Superior Man. Super common, super mainstream, one of the most popular in the West, to start to have an understanding of women, because you'll only go so far in life. Think about it from like a spiritual perspective. God, the universe, or a beautiful freak accident that's working out perfectly, whatever's happening on planet Earth. You take one part of the species, women, they're more emotionally feeling driven, right? But guys have emotions and feelings, okay? But you take guys, they're more rational and logical. Women do have the ability to be rational and logical. They don't really allow rationale to interfere with what they're feeling. So their truths are different, even though they have a bit of both parts of the operating system of logic and feeling. What if God, the universe, whatever, had a divine plan that if you wanted to be the most powerful integrated version of you, that you would develop both. You would develop your mind and you would develop your heart and your emotions. And what if the number one way to do that was through an intimate relationship that will push your buttons, that will challenge you, that'll bring up fears from childhood? What if that's part of the plan? Something to think about. Remember, if you don't understand women, bro, you're gonna have a different life. And it's gonna be much rougher than you'll ever possibly know, because you'll look around at all the other dudes and go, oh, this is how it is. They're all crazy. But you could have something where you're having a level of connection, fun, passion, depth, exploration, love, and incredibly wild, deep, amazing, beautiful sex. Or you could just say they're all crazy. It's up to you. Do whatever you want. See you tomorrow. Ciao, homie.